I caught this guy, Dave Nelson, doing, and I want to be kind, you call it a fake TV show on YouTube.
It's more like a fake TV network.
It's a fake
I
TV
like
network. I like that because I've had a fake radio show for years. So why not?
Right on.
Why not? Both real and imagined. And Dave does a cooking show, and you call it Between Two Stoves.
Well, I do interviews. Those are Between Two Stoves.
Oh, okay.
My cooking show, it started out as Quarantine Kitchen, happy hour.
All right.
And, but really my brand is called Industry Cooking.
Industry Cooking, and he's a longtime cooking industry vet. Or veteran, and you also teach cooking to chefs all around town, right?
Oh yeah, you better believe it. I've lately I've just been grabbing any teaching gig I can, so I'm at junior colleges, and I work at a lady prison and things like that, just anywhere I can get cooking technique across to people.
Sure.
The real deal.
Yeah, this almost sounds like trying to do a radio show. I'll do a radio show for anybody.
Oh, you better believe it.
Invite me over to your house. We'll, if you want a show, we'll give you a show. But what I love about your show is one, you do it out of your kitchen, right? You do
my junky little kitchen.
And Between Two Stoves, and I just like that concept. And it's with Food Network and all the cooking shows that are so popular right now. To do this show on YouTube, and of course you share it on social media, on Facebook and probably Instagram. Do you do Instagram too?
A little bit. I'm still trying to work in that, but I don't have nearly as much to worry about as Food Network because I'm not popular. So it kind of works for me.
Right, exactly. And one of the episodes I just saw that you did, and you were talking, and then you were talking about like some chocolate bombs. Hot chocolate bombs, and what I like is it's just real casual, and you feel like you're just hanging out and kind of chit-chatting about food. I love that.
I like to think so. We're just coming in my little kitchen. As I always say at the end of every show, the party's always in the kitchen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what a great line. And I mean, what's great about the time that we live in is with social media, and I talk about this all the time because I spent 30 years on the radio. Hard labor, okay? Hard labor.
Hard labor. Rocks in the hot sun.
I am a veteran of the radio wars, okay? And the thing was the only time I could do anything about my show was when I was on the air at the radio station years ago.
Sure. Yeah.
But with the advent of social media, I can go on live anytime I want. And if I want to talk about somebody's doing a benefit, I can do a video on that. Or if I just want to ramble, which I do a lot apparently. So, and do you find it the same for your cooking show, that it's kind of like, hey, I want to do something today. There's nobody telling me I can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to just hop in front of the camera here and talk about that.
I think we're just in the same boat here. You're reading my mind. I teach in schools, and I have to be a certain person there.
Right,
and I teach occasionally at a prison, and I have to be a certain person.
Sure.
But in my own little kitchen, I can do whatever I want, and nobody's telling me what to do, and I have a lot of fun with it. Right.
And the other thing, too, is you really, we kind of do the same thing, because I promote a lot of restaurants and let people know about local places to eat, drink, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're doing the same thing in a little bit of a different vein, and a creative vein, which I love what you're doing, and it's just really cool to see somebody take their own personality and kind of find the way that works for them.
Yeah, it all started with the cooking techniques I was trying to get out there. I was basically starting a cooking school for home cooks, but bringing across professional cooking techniques like we teach in a culinary arts school.
Gotcha.
But eventually, we're in COVID, and I wanted to get the Sacramento restaurant community out there any little way I could. I'm stuck at home, and this is just my small way of trying to help the situation. I in my own small way, as I said. Yeah.
The thing I love about your show, and I'm going to compare it to a cooking show that I see on Netflix all the time. It's not a cooking show, it's Feed Phil. And what I love is his personality, his quirky personality comes out with the food, to where he travels, and the expression on his face. And what you're doing reminds me of that kind of. It's taking that food experience, your personal food experience, and really sharing it with anybody.
I have to just give it my own experience. I never watch food TV at all, and so everything that you see is just kind of the way I see it, and I put it out there. These are the same things that I've been, talking about for the last 15 years of teaching.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And with being a food industry professional, are you surprised to see all these food shows become so popular, or did you always see that coming?
I'm not surprised because cooking is sexy, right?
Right.
It really
Yeah,
is.
it
You know,
can be,
it's
yeah.
always in like that top 5 of sexiest professions.
Sure.
Unless you like look underneath and see how sweaty and dirty and twisted we all are.
And that chef's coat. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, for me, you know, when Food Network rolled along, I'd been cooking for 10 years and I'm coming off a 12 or 14-hour shift and I get home. The last thing I want to do is see, you know, the Emerald guy yelling at me in a chef coat. I just spent the whole day with that. And so, you know, I kind of think of it as like, you know, does a postman finish up his day by going home, cracking a cold one and watching professional power walking? Right?
Yeah. Well, I always think those food shows are for people who aren't chefs, who want to maybe know a little more about fixing and preparing food. I mean, they're for kind of the general audience. They're not really for folks that may be a chef or cook all the time or whatever. It's kind of like if you golf all the time, you're probably not turning on the golf channel, right?
I don't know. Golf might be different. People golf and watch.
Yeah, well, it could be. But I mean, generally those guys are probably looking for something else to watch because they're so focused all the time on playing golf.
Yeah, right? I would think, like for the professionals.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But absolutely, yeah. Food Network, I've always viewed it very much as, it's geared more to home cooks. It's more inspirational than educational, and I've always felt that's a missed opportunity, and I rail against Food Network. You know, I get a new class in and I'm always like, turn off your TVs. We're going to talk about the real thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's like a lot of things. There's an illusion about what it is, and then there's the reality of what it really is. And to me, it sounds like you're saying, hey, there's nothing wrong per se with these shows.
No.
You know, I mean, if that's what you want, if you want a little candy, if you want some sugar about, you know, cooking and food and all that, that's fine, right?
I probably get I do get a little grief about capping on the network, you know, food TV as I call it. But yeah, it just never really spoke to me. And so, you know, COVID hits and I get kicked out of all the 4 jobs I was working on at the time.
There you go.
And, you know, hey, I was just going to do my show. And again, I've never watched anybody else's, so you're just getting my take on things.
Well, I think that's what makes it great. You know, anytime that you get that real authentic person, you know, talking about something they have a passion for and knowledge for, I think, you know, can be fun to watch, can be entertaining, and can be educational. You know?
Well, I don't want anybody to get the impression that I'm an authentic guy.
Okay,
but because we do mess around, we have fun at this, right?
Well, you can still have fun.
Yeah, behind all of it, there is some real cooking technique in there, and also just bringing in real chefs. I've had some big names around town. I try and bring on the sexiest people in the restaurant community that I possibly can, because we're all stuck at home. We want some beefcake, and that's
why
what
not
I try
some
and
entertainment?
Yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of personalities in the kitchen, right? In the Sacramento area, right?
I could say that. Yeah. You could say that.
I think so. And so I think you know, your show is a great thing. Now, where can folks catch it? I mean, obviously it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, and we stream out of a little group. I have to have it on a group page, you know, a little technical stuff here, but I got to have a group page so I can get live comments coming in.
Right.
So I have a group called Industry Cooking Community, and there, you know, there's several people on there so far. It's not huge. It's just the right size, you know. But you can check it out. That's where I live stream, and then once it's all done, I edit it up, you know, put some nice things in there, some little bells and whistles, and then I put them out on YouTube at the Industry Cooking channel. Again, America's favorite lifetime network that you don't know about. Right,
exactly. And so the YouTube channel, again, that folks can find it there?
Industry Cooking Channel.
Industry Cooking Channel.
It's the greatest.
And then what's the Facebook group if folks wanted to join and wanted to be part of the broadcast?
And that's the Industry Cooking Community.
Industry Cooking Community. So a couple different places you can go there to find what Dave does, and it's wacky. I think it's irreverent, but yet you might take something from it and learn something about cooking or food that you didn't know before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I find.
If I could say another thing about that Industry Cooking Community, there's tons and tons of instructors that I know and chefs that hang out in this group, and so it's like home cooks together with chefs, like educational, right? And everybody puts in their 2 cents. Somebody puts a little something out there, and you'll get tons and tons of good advice. So definitely worth checking out.
Who doesn't need that during these times to kind of figure out something else to fix, a little different? You know?
I could use a little advice myself, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, hey. people ask, oh, do you have a good recipe for this and that? And it's like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what to cook for dinner too, pal.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what's for dinner? That's the big question we all have to ask, right? Every day.
And the answer to that question is listen to the ingredients. Go to the store. Don't go to the store with a shopping list. See what they have. What's on special, what's fresh, what's good, and let the ingredients tell you what to do.
Now, the farm to fork movement that's really happened in the Sacramento region, has that affected greatly? I mean, obviously, industry cooking and the way food is prepared at local restaurants?
The farm to fork movement is, the way I see it is, home cooks finally finding out how chefs have been cooking for years.
Oh, really?
It's all about what I just said. Let the ingredients talk to you, and getting local.
Getting
we're really going back to our roots there, right? Think about how you see the picture of the Parisian person going out on their bicycle and buying their groceries just for today.
From
and
the produce and
and they go home and they cook that. Farm to fork, it's just. A lot of chefs are just like, well, finally, America's finally getting this, right? And so, it doesn't really affect us so much on this side, but it's great to see other people getting into that. And I may say, a show we had a couple of weeks ago, I had Slow Food Sacramento. That whole slow food movement very much drives that idea of farm to fork. And that's a great one if you want to check that out on YouTube. The Industry Cooking channel.
Right. Well, see, there you go. Hey, Dave, I want to thank you so much for stopping by, and I'm a fan of your show, and thanks so much for swinging by our podcast.
I got a fan. Oh my gosh.
You got a fan. He's got one. He probably needs a couple more.
Yeah,
he probably needs a couple more.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, man.
Yeah,
this is a blast. I love doing stuff like this.
All right. Well, we hope to have you come back sometime in the near future, and maybe after the first of the year.
Anytime. I think I could put up some burners here and cook a little something.
We would love to have that.
That'd be awesome.
We've had wine poured in the studio, we've had drinks mixed in the studio, but yet we have not had food prepared before the cameras.
Not just food, fire. That's what you need on this show.
Yeah, exactly. So, Dave Nelson, what's some good social media links that folks can follow you?
Okay, again, you can check me out at the Industry Cooking channel on YouTube. That's where I have tons and tons of archived cooking videos and tons and tons of interviews with Sacramento food luminaries. And you can also hit me up on the Industry Cooking community on Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm also on Instagram, and you can look for Industry Cooking there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now we know. Now we know all the links, and we'll get it out to the world.
You better believe it. I love it. I love it.
All right. So it's all about cooking with Dave and the Industry Cooking Show. You got to check it out. Between Two Stoves. I love it. Between Two Stoves. I love that comment. I love that title. All right. Thanks so much for joining us on the Rec Show podcast. We'll catch up with you next time.
Bye, everybody.